What's cracking, mi gente? This your boy D once again, stopping by to drop a little bit of love and a little bit of knowledge. Now, as you guys can see, what we'll be discussing, you guys can see in a thumbnail, in a uña, it's a hot topic right now. A lot of people got at me, asked me what were my thoughts about. A lot of people gave their thoughts, their opinion. Some of them were ex-norteños. So I'm going to give my perspective from an ex-sureño perspective and point of view, and hope you guys like my opinion, and I'll speak the truth. I know a little bit details, I don't know too much. It's Pelican Bay right now, slammed down. So let's get into the topic and let's figure out how we can do that. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment. I'll get back at you as soon as I can. With that said, let's get it. Pelican Bay. I speak of this prison. I've been there on both yards, A yard and B yard. At the time, on both yards. A yard was basically, at that time when I was there, it was all sureños. There was no norteños there. It was whites, blacks, others, and sureños. They didn't have northerners in the yard at that time. B yard, when I went to B yard after my shoot term, usually when you do a shoot term or go to a hole, go to ADSE, they send you to B yard. That's what they call the messed ups, the fuck ups, the hardcore gangsters, go, or however you want to perceive it. But at that time, community used to look at it, you going to be here because you were coming out of the shoe, so that we used to send you over there. So when I landed to be here, that was my second time being in the prison with the Norteños in San Quentin. We didn't program with them, but I was in reception, and like I said, that was my first prison that I hit after reception was Pelican Bay. So that was my first time programming in a yard with Norteños. It was a whole different ball game. I speak on this with different videos that I will be making regarding their program. And like I always told you guys, I used to tell a lot of the homies from down south, they used to be minimized, oh, them fools are weak. No, believe me, a lot of them dudes were vicious. A lot of them dudes were firmes soldados. A lot of them dudes were gangsters with the business. Yeah, they might have been a number, but one thing I always give it to them, they'll always rush. They will always get off. They know there was nothing scary about them. They wouldn't be afraid to get off. They will get off when they have to. This incident happened in Pelican Bay. Seems like it was well thought out. It was well planned. And I don't see this incident happen without the approval of higher ups or other people involved. I just don't see it. Because the end to hostility began, and people call it peace treaty, and I don't think it was a peace treaty. It was just an agreement that the guy that reached down, it came basically was like, we're gonna come to a conclusion, we're gonna come to some sort of agreement, manipulate the system, let them out of the shoe, they come out the shoe, they establish whatever they wanted to do, and that was all about. They needed to come out to the yards, walk the lines, get access to the phone, establish their neighborhoods, their profit, their network, and then go from there. That's what the whole power move was about. They didn't want to come out to the yards and make it better, make it safe for everybody, because as they came out, you guys have seen it, there's been more stabbing, more violence increase, and they can start the cleaning houses. They can call it that if they want to, but a lot of those things are political moves. Let's be real. I'm gonna speak from the real. Some people might not like hearing my opinion, but that's just my opinion. I feel like I'm entitled to it. And if y'all guys don't like it, then it is what it is. Sorry, it's Spencer. So, me personally, speaking from what I have been through and what I have seen, in Pelican Bay especially, that's a prison that is held at a high regard due to the people that's there, due to the facts there's always a respectful prison. There's a lot of old heads there. There's a lot of older gang members, and there's a lot of respect based on past frictions. You know, there's a lot of respect in that prison. Let's put it that way. It's well known. So I don't see this incident being as a rogue, or the sureños went rogue, or they do probably say something they got off. I don't see that as that. Like I said, I don't think I see that as being rogue, or the sureños just decide to go to war with these guys just for no reason. I'm looking at it from the M perspective and their political game. We seen what's being transpired, And I said it before, this was an incident waiting to happen. This was like a ticking time bomb. Eventually, I would have thought, and sincerely, and I'm not saying this to advertise or to basically say let's let them go to war, kill each other. I'm not saying to advertise in violence or I want people to see hurt. That's not what I'm saying this for. And I mean this with all due respect. I don't want people to. I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to see homies get killed behind stuff like this. No, but I would have thought on my mind that the Northerners, the NF, would have struck first. That was my thinking. I had conversation with different people, and I always thought, I was like, I think them dudes are gonna get off first. I think they're gonna do a power play because of everything that's been transpired. Since the main guys, the older hair guys from NF, got all snatched up on the indictment for the feds, the MS saw this as them getting weak in the political moves that needed to be made. I mean, they saw that there was not a lot of power behind them anymore. A lot of the old heads that were getting indicted, that were going to the feds. So they saw them leaving the NF as crippled. They were crippled at that time because they didn't have well-seasoned warriors. They didn't have well-seasoned generals. They didn't have well-seasoned people and higher up powers to make the decisions that needed to be made. They saw this. They saw this happening. And I would have thought that when the NF saw this happening, they would have either take a shot at them or at least try to have something ready. And the reason why I said this is because we saw all of this played out in the mainstreams. We saw YouTubers. We saw people that know the knowledge in the streets and the prison system. All the political moves the MN was doing was for this purpose only. To create a stronghold all around California prison systems and in the streets to demonstrate how powerful they are, how powerful they can be. So what they start doing, they start making sureños from upstate, sureños from up north, they start making them into maymans, into carnales, into pilis. And the reason behind that was they had a hidden agenda. Jay from Renegade Media spoke about this when the Salina situation happened. Because we saw this coming. I mean, the people that been around politics, I was a political guy before I started doing this. I was involved in it. I would have saw this as a power move too. If I see my enemy crippled, weakening, and the generals they're behind and that does the power move, that does all the war tactics are being snatched up, my first thought would have been, now is the time. Let's hit it. Let's weaken them and let's cut their knees out so we can put them against behind the wall and put them between the sword and the wall and say, you guys have one or two decisions to make. You guys either go to war and you guys all get smashed, or you guys convert it back to what you guys used to be. You guys come home. You guys come back home and decide to start claiming the MA. And eventually, if the NF, and I'm not saying I want the NF to go to war with the Mexican Mafia, I want the Norteños to go to war. I'm not saying that. I'm not advertising violence. That's not my point. But I'm saying, if I would be in a mindset of thinking, that was a declaration of war. They literally butchered this guy. They airlifted him to one hospital. That first hospital couldn't help him, so they lifted to another hospital. He died on the road there. They brought him back, and then they airlifted him to another hospital. He got transferred to 3 different hospitals trying to save the life of that guy. And when I heard he was a black guy, as a Norteño, 2 people came to my head. Shady, which was a Norteño at the time with, he was a big dude. And he was black. He had a big 14 in his face, Norteño on his back. He was with the business. And he had a lot of animosity going towards the Sureños. Plus, he was a black Norteño, so he had a lot to do. And he had tattoos that were well earned. And there was another guy named Boo, I believe was his name. That was a Norteño that was also black. They were the same measurement as what it was described to me. A big black guy the hit on. So, I hope they're well. I don't know if the person passed away or whatnot. And I heard a lot of opinions being done on YouTube from the Norteño side. And there was a declaration of war. Sometimes it might sound harsh, guys, but let's see it for perspective. And they gave their opinion, the Norteño. So I'm doing my thoughts and my opinion from my point of view as a Sureño, as an ex-Sureño, excuse me. And I want to endorse that. All it was a power move from the Mexican Mafia. I don't think the boy T from Florencia and the boy N from the other side, the other senor that's there, I don't think they allow that to happen. And unless they're so dirty, they're gonna come back and claim, oh, there were rogue sureños that did that. I don't think that was that, man. I don't think that was this case. I think this was a plan, well thought out plan, well executed plan, and that person was the target. That person was the target. They had a high value target in mind. In order for them to actually lock Norteños in the freezer and went after this person, where the Norteños that couldn't help their homie, I don't know that seems to be just a spur of the moment incident. That doesn't seem like that. I mean, they butchered this guy. They literally went to town on this guy. That don't seem like an accident. I mean, you tell me. An accident is happens in the spur moment. Riots happen in the spur moment. Fights happen in the spur moment. I can understand that, but a well thought out plan like this, where you can lock individuals in the freezer, so you can prevent them from intervening on what you have planned out to do and carry out. This was an act of war against the Norteños. This was an act of vengeance, a well thought out, executed, formulated plan and power move that they made, and they executed really well. Not that I'm enjoying what happened or that I'm glorifying the violence. No, it was just a fact. It's a well thought out, well executed plan, and it's a power political play. I don't think it's gonna come out to be like, oh, if it does come out to the point where they say that those sureños act on their own and they weren't rogue, these people are gonna get hit, they're gonna get dealt with. I think eventually people is gonna start seeing how treacherous this game is, and eventually the sureños are gonna start getting fed up if they get hanged to dry. Let's hypothetically speak that they went rogue. Let's hypothetically speak that they went rogue and they attacked the Norteños just because they felt like it, and they get dealt with. And that doesn't happen to be the case. You think one of these guys is not gonna say something, or their homeboys is not gonna say something, or their people or the loved one is not gonna say something? We'll see how it played out in the next few couple of days. But the tension that I think is being felt in that yard at this moment is vicious. I wouldn't wish I couldn't be there, because I don't wish that on my worst person that I don't like or enemy, for the saying goes. For the simple fact that I know how vicious those riots can get. I know how vicious those attacks can be. And it's gonna look really bad. And I say this with nothing but respect. And I'm gonna keep repeating myself. Sorry about that, but I'm gonna repeat it. I'm not saying this is my personal opinion. I don't have fact. I didn't get a call from Pelican Bay with facts. This happened. This why it happens. I haven't got to that point yet. I try to reach out to some people. Some people try to reach out to me, but it's a sensitive topic. If information get put out there, it's gonna be a lot of people being dealt with in the wrong way. So the information I'm getting, I gotta get the facts straight. I just can't come and say, this has happened. I'm hearing little pieces by pieces here and there from people that were there, but I can't come out and say this is what transpired, because different versions came to me, and I don't know if they're testing the guys to see if whoever's talking to the YouTubers or whatnot. So I just don't want to go and say this is the reason why it transpired. Until I get 100% facts, then I will come here and give you guys an update and tell you this what was told to me from a reliable source, and then go from there. But I want to say this, not to instigate a war or to instigate the Norteños to do things. No, my personal opinion is if the NF doesn't do anything to retaliate against this act or to take vengeance against this act, they're gonna be looked as weak. They're gonna look really bad, and that's a fact, and everybody knows that. So do I think the war is gonna kick off? I think so. I think the war will kick off right now. I think this end to hostility is over, at least in Pelican Bay. I think there's gonna be people, because I'm looking for the powers to be, even if the NF say no, we're not gonna do nothing. I think the Norteño or the Northern Raza are gonna lose hope and belief and respect for the leaders, and they're gonna start taking matters into their own hands. And we're gonna see what's being transpired in other prisons, that the young generation's taking out the older dudes, because for the simple fact that they don't have the huevos, let's put it like the way it is, the balls to go against the Mexican Mafia again or to create a war. Because when it comes down to it, I already know the excuse. It's gonna affect the money. It's gonna affect what they have going on. They will get slammed back down, and they're gonna lose everything. But then at the same time, the brother Jay said it better than I can. So we could have go to war with these guys. It was okay for us to kill each other when you guys were in the back because you guys weren't in the mix. But now that you guys are here, you guys don't want to go to that stream because it will affect you guys. You guys gonna get slammed back down, or you guys could get hurt too in the process. So it was okay for us to keep killing each other while you guys enjoy watching it from far away in the back. But now that you guys are in the middle of it, you guys don't want to go to war. So it's gonna come down to that decision. Whatever the leadership of the Northerners decide to do, they don't do nothing about it. I believe that the Norteños faction is gonna lose respect for the leadership, and things will worsen. And if it do happen that they take arms and go to war, a lot of people's gonna get hurt, unfortunately. And that's the sad part of all of this. The whole point of all of this is sad because they came out preaching that it was all for the raza, we're all united, we're all gonna get along, and now they forgot all about the promises that they made. They came out, it was all about them, how much money can they make, what can they get their benefits, and that was it. And fuck everybody else. And if you get in the middle, they were chopping you down. If you were thorn to the side, they were chopping you down. And that's not what was promised. They promised to come out, treat us right, give us our props. Yeah, I understand that they paid the way they do the due diligence back in the days. So we did. Those hunger strikes, those wars that we went to, all of that we endured for them. So when they came out, they can have a stronghold and they can have a penitentiary where they can come out, relax, do their thing. But they didn't appreciate nothing. They don't appreciate a damn thing that we did. And that's a fact because I seen a lot of people getting hurt behind, oh, I just don't like that dude, how he carry himself, and boom, chopping down. And that's the worst part about it. And that's the worst part about it. That they don't get affected. They don't get hurt. The people that's going to keep getting hurt is the soldiers. The full frontliner soldiers. Their torpedoes. So I tell you guys in the penitentiary, you guys see this, or you guys have loved ones. Ask them, man, is it worth it you going to war for somebody that doesn't give a damn about you? That doesn't care about you if you die or live? All they care about is getting their money up. Getting their dollars up. Making sure you contribute to their money. I ask you this, you think that those dudes gonna provide something for your mother, your family if you get killed on those wars? I bet you they won't call your mom or your family to be like, you know what, I'm so I'm sorry about your loss. He was a good guy. Here goes a couple dollars if you need him for the funeral arrangement for whatever. They're not gonna sit down and give nothing. They're gonna be like, well, he was a good homie, but we got some more. That's what we're gonna get. The thanks. That's the thanks you guys are gonna get. He was a good homie, was a solid homie, man. But it is what it is. Fuck it. You know, so you guys gotta decide. You guys gotta make your own mind and make your own decision if you guys wanna keep living this crazy war for somebody that doesn't care about you, doesn't give a rat ass about your family, what they go through. And all it is about their benefit, their money, how much power, how much money they can get. You've seen it happening. This is going to continue happening. It was a matter of a time. I said it was a matter of time before either one of the faction decide to do something. Either the Norteños are going to feel like these dudes are doing too much, they're taking over their territory, and they're going to buck. Or the Emma is going to be like, we wait for them. When they're weak, we hit them. And that's what just transpired. The seasoned generals got sent to the feds. They got a couple dudes out there. They haven't been around that much from what I'm hearing. There's one or two that maybe so. But probably they haven't been around the war time. You got to understand there's two different when you're in power and there's war counselors and there's when there's a peace counselors. Like you have your own people that's advising you if you were here and there doing your thing when all is fine and dandy. But when it's wartime, everybody's going to look up to you like, what we going to do? What's the next move? Who we going to hit? What's going to happen next? And eventually you're going to start realizing, man, it's not easy being this and that. It can get overwhelmed as well. And that's when decisions get made the wrong way. That's when calls made and they're bad. So do I think that this war will end here? No, I don't think so. Do I hope so? Yes, I will hope that all of this nonsense can stop and they can learn how to live with each other. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think this war is long coming. I think it's going to transpire. I think it will keep happening, unfortunately. People will get hurt. I know that, and that's my opinion of it. Will it happen? Do I wish it to happen? Hell no. I don't wish nobody to get hurt. I don't want to instigate violence. That's not what I'm here about. But I'm speaking facts because they have a one or two choice. They shut down and take it up in the butt and don't do nothing. Then the northern leaders, the other Norteños, their factions, the soldiers gonna start looking at whatever general is in charge as weak, and they're gonna move on him, and then begin the war. They're gonna war within each other, internally political with each other, and try to take this general that don't want to retaliate, and they're gonna lose soldiers, or they go to war with the enemy, and it's gonna be bloody. And at the end, it's gonna come to a decision, to an agreement. Let's do that, let's do that. It's gonna keep happening until either the Norteños get fed up and they do something about it, say, challenge, we're not doing no agreements no more, we're gonna go to war and that's it. Or given the ultimatum, they go back home. They enjoy back to the enemy and then become one general gang. In my opinion, me being ex-Sureño from up north, will I think the Norteños, they are the full soldiers, agree to that union back again? I don't think so. I think even when the agreement came into place, there was a lot of people that were not happy with that, because there's been a lot of hostility, a lot of blood have been shed, there's been a lot of war fought on the streets, and for them to say, oh, you guys now have to get along, hold hands, do this, do that, I think a lot of people looked at it as a weak move. They also followed suit, understood that they wanted to come out and shoot, so they gave in that. But now, if they don't do nothing, then it's going to be like, oh, it's a continuous thing. These dudes are weak. It's going to transpire to either the Norteños doing a whole power move against the whole generation of generals, or then deciding to take matters to him and go to war with their own faction and the him. So it's a lose-lose battle. Nobody wins here. The only winners are those greedy guys. They're sitting in a chair high with their head just laughing about situation and seeing people getting killed, getting hurt. So you gotta wake up, my brothers. You guys gotta look at the picture and realize if you guys wanna keep doing this, wanna keep game banging for somebody that doesn't give a rat ass about you, you wanna keep losing your life, catching time over somebody that doesn't even have the decency or the audacity to tell you, good job, homie. We don't need the pat on the back, but when somebody died, I heard it before. There's a homie that died. Yeah, he was a good soldado. That's all you get. There's not even a remorse. There's not even something that they can do for the families. They don't even call their mom and say, you know what, I knew he was a solid dude, nothing. But if the soldados decide to check in and drop out, then they're punk, then they're cowards, then they do this, then they do that. That's because they open their eyes. They don't want to keep going through the same thing every single day, year in and year out. It just doesn't make no sense. But that's my opinion. That's my thoughts. And I'm entitled to it. You might not like it, but I say this to say this. I don't think this will end here. I think this is a war coming, and we saw it coming, and it's going to be bloody. And I wish we couldn't have got to this point. I wish our young generations in there would open their mind and say, you know what? We're tired of bleeding for somebody that doesn't care about us. We just done. But it's not going to happen. I'm wishing to the stars, but it is what it is, man. I pray and hope that nobody gets hurt and nobody die on these acts that will be coming or that will come or won't come at all. I hope nothing transpires, and I hope they can come to a resolution, which is highly undoubtful. But I don't want to see people get hurt, man. I don't want to see people catching time. I don't want to see people catching body bags. I just don't want 2000 to repeat itself in Pelican Bay. I don't want to see that big nasty riot where people lost their life and a lot of people got hurt really bad in 2000 when the riot kicked off. I don't want to see this. I don't want to hear it in the paper. I don't want to read it. So with a heavy heart, I say this, and it's saddening me to have to do a reaction to these videos. I hope all my brothers that are out there, they're looking at this as, oh, I want to go to prison, that's why I want to get back. I hope you wake up and see the prison is not no joke. It's not a playground. They will put a knife in your hand. You either will do something or it will be done to you. That's just the pure fact. Either will stab somebody or somebody will stab you. It's either you or him. And 9 times out of 10, for selfish reason, we choose to do survive for us and for our family. So we chose to hurt somebody else without thinking about the consequence, the time, the family, the pain that we put in it through. So if you are looking at this, youngsters out there gangbanging, trying to do crazy acts of violence, think about it. Just take 30 seconds to think about it before you pick up the gun and decide to go on a rampage. Is it worth it? Is it worth you doing life for your neighborhood, for the block that when you come home is still going to be there, that piece of concrete? Is it worth you putting your mom through that much pain, going to trial, going to court, going to visit, you wasting all that money on canteen when you can go up here and buy yourself a Coke, a little Jack in the Box, McDonald's, whatever you choose to eat, and put your family through sad times, especially in these holidays? Nah, man, stay home and enjoy your family. Spend the holidays with them. Tell them that you love them. I appreciate them. Give them some love. Just take a couple of seconds to think before you act. I hope with all my heart that this doesn't go any further. And I know that might be wishful thinking. I just don't hope and wish nothing bad on nobody. With that said, mi gente, it was my opinion, my thoughts on it from a Sureño side. It was just a political move. It was a long time coming. Now, everybody's on the edge of the seat to see what the Norteños are going to do. Would they retaliate or would they bow down and take it in? I say, mi gente, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment. I'll get back at you as soon as I can. I'm out. Let's get it.